Oops, sorry.
Welcome to Take5, a podcast produced by Go Short, in which we take a break from the festival to talk about the art of making film, film festivals, and more. Making sure we step back and reflect by sharing industry insights and experiences, helping today and future makers on their filmmaking journey. So on today's episode is Stavros Markoulakis joining us in our little intermission. So grab a seat, take a break, and let's explore the art of filmmaking together.
We burned one film, which I found like as a very nice little symbolic thing to happen because the film is all about fire. And we burned a film. I opened my Gmail some days ago and I saw an email from a student from France that randomly saw the film in Clermont-Ferrand, and they said that they really connected with it. Situations like this, responses like this, keeps me grounded to what I want to pursue and why I've started working with film.
So, Stavros, you are a filmmaker and a film programmer, originally from Greece, but you can be found a lot in the Netherlands. You work at IFFR and at Leiden Shorts at the head of the program. So for Go Shorts, your film Pigeons Are Dying When the City is on Fire was selected for the European competition. So that is why you're mostly here, right?
Exactly.
Can you tell us what your film is about?
Yes. So if my film is totally a true story.
Yeah.
Even though when you're gonna watch it, you might not believe so. And I think it's a film about connections that you randomly encounter in your life, and more specifically, love connections and the quality of falling in love, the art of falling in love that I did feel back then when I was writing the story that it's a little bit difficult to encounter these days in this suffocating modern way of urban living, especially for the younger generations. It takes weird paths, and I just wanted to make a film as an ode to love and what I loved back then, or what I fell in love back then. Also, not only people, but nature itself and the city. The film was shot in Athens, so it's also, I would like to encounter it as an ode to love for Athens.
So why did you decide you wanted to make this movie? Because it's based on true, it's 100% true. Why did you thought it would be a good idea to set this up in a movie?
Because I couldn't experience it in real life. Let's say what we call real life. So I wanted to recreate, let's say, is a reality, imaginative reality that I could explore the 100% or 150% of what the story could have been
by making this film.
By making this film. Throughout this process of writing, shooting, editing, then shooting again, rewriting in the editing process. Like, it was an experience for me to recreate an alternative reality.
Well, was it also your personal motivation for making this short film?
Yes, a lot. It was my first, I consider it like my first real film in a way, because it was the first time that I had like a funding support and a wider group of people like my team, and also it was more conscious who joined the creative process, and through this process I found my team, like, which is also part, like, it's like a family now. And yeah, I really wanted to test myself outside of like the more DIY processes and make something a little bit, let's say, more professional. It's what is professional, what's not, but like more in the standard professional processes.
So how did you get the funding for your movie?
I had a producer, of course, which helped a lot, and the film was entirely supported. No, it was supported to the biggest extent from the Greek Film Center, which is the main funding organization in Greece. And then we also received support from Creative Europe Media for the development. And a lot of help, which doesn't translate only into money, but also energy and from other people that helped along the way.
Did you have to apply it to get those funds?
Yes, we had the applications, which were, I think, we didn't receive. This is a lucky version. I never expected that we would never receive like rejection for in the funding process. I think we didn't receive a rejection with this project. It was just plain.
That's really
quite easy, at least.
Quite
for the
easy.
funding, yeah.
Maybe it seems like almost too easy, actually.
Yes, but it's not always like this. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Okay. So you told us what your movie was about. What are you trying to accomplish with this film?
This is a really interesting question, and I think for this one, because it was such a personal research and testimony reflected on my real life events, I just wanted to. It sounds a cliche, but I wanted to research what was going within myself and my feelings and grow within it, growing out of a lot of pain, growing out of a lot of anger. So I wasn't really seeing this as a project that, it could move me to the next step professionally, or I would like this to be presented in this festival, or like in this setup, or like in this cinema, or what would be the response of the audience. For this specific project, I wanted to finalize it and have myself understand my response when it's finalized, which was a really interesting for me experience. I hope that I will experience it again, but for the time being, I don't.
You don't think it will? It will.
I hope so. I don't know. It was more a naive period for me, and more of a very passionate period for me. Like I knew what was the film about, and I wanted to research this, not necessarily deliver it.
But even though it wasn't like your main intention to make it popular or for the festivals,
not for this one.
It did. So
it did. It's going really well, and apart from like that it's going well, it's also nice that it's. I see the audience responding to it and reflecting to it and connecting with it, and this is really, really important. But the previous film that I had, or the film that I'm working now, I much more wait for this, and I crave this response. But for example, just like random, but maybe it's a nice story. At least it was really for me. I opened my Gmail some days ago, and I saw an email from a student from France that randomly saw the film in Clermont-Ferrand, and they said that they really connected with it like a student, which is really, really nice. And then they just wanted to watch it. And to me, this is really special.
Does it motivate you more to make?
Very much, and grounds me also. Because in this industry, you're always looking for something, and all the films are becoming projects, and all the pieces of work. I have a friend that keeps on telling me this, that it's not a project, it's a piece of work, it's a piece of artwork. And sometimes along the way, it's difficult to maintain this mentality, and situations like this, responses like this, keeps me grounded to what I want to pursue and why I've started working with film.
So you are a filmmaker, but you also are a film programmer at Leiden Shorts, and you work also at IFFR. How do you combine all that?
First of all, we live in a capitalistic system, which is difficult. It's getting out of the worst nightmare day after day, and we have to sustain ourselves. Unfortunately, I don't have a backup plan. Like, I'm not coming from a very privileged background, so I have to sustain myself. And then I said, okay, the only thing that I really do in this life is like watch films, talk about films. And this is what I wanted to do. Like, I want to start my day by reading, by watching films, discuss about it, contemplate on technical aspects or the.
Oh, you found your dream job. Then.
So I imagined my dream job, and then I met some people, and they're like, "Oh, this is kind of, you can work for festivals. Like, this would be probably what you would be working around." And after a lot of years, it works. So I'm very happy. It's a lot of work, and it's difficult sometimes to maintain, but I do feel that it's really valuable that one position reflects the other, reflects on another, and feedbacks each other. So
yeah, it's kind of like a circle, because the one
It's really nice also, like, also as a curator, but also as in administrative roles, like I was at IFFR or other festivals, like smaller festivals. It's really nice because you, in the end, in your everyday life, you create a life around the filmmaking process and filmmakers and workers around film, and it's a good life. It's very it's very busy, but it's a good life. I cannot complain. It's really nice. And
maybe I should change then.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we're here now.
Yeah, right.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
What do you hope the audiences will understand or will feel after seeing your film?
I wish that they would feel a little bit more connected with their surroundings and grounded, but not necessarily grounded in the way that we tend to use the word, like ground yourself, like in a more naturalistic or realistic pace of living. Grounding as in hearing and listening to what surrounds you, the earth that you step on every morning, and the stars that if you're able to see. And by grounding yourself to the surrounding environment, I think you also ground yourself with your connections that you have and eventually yourself. So if it sparks a little spark to them to ground themselves and take a pause, stay silent for a little bit, and listen what is going on around them and within them, I think that's the best that they can get from these 21 minutes.
But you also got like that email you said people are going out of their way to send you a message of how nice they thought your film were. I feel like they also, do they affect you?
It does a lot. It affects me a lot because, as I said, like it grounds me back to the original reason why I started making films and sharing stories and telling stories differently each time. It's really nice to share. Like, it's really nice to share generally. So as I am trying to share something, it's always good to receive like a response, or creates a dialogue in a way.
Yeah. Have there any been more reactions to your film from the audience? And would you maybe have changed certain things if you would have known how they would react? Or now not really change certain things if it's 100% a true story?
I always want to change things, so I never change them, and I could go on and on and on of how many things I would change, but I was so dedicated back then that I've worked on this, and this is the final piece, that I even wrote it down to my little diary, and I could tell you now that I would go back and change something, but it doesn't matter because back then I was 100% sure that I will not change anything. So it doesn't really matter.
Is it doubt then?
No, it's like we're growing. Every day that passes in our lives, we grow more. So I do think that looking back, maybe we would change things, but as a reflection of who we are now. Back then,
it's always It's always so like with the clothes you wear. Like if you look back at it, it looks horrible. Yeah, but in the time you were really happy with how you looked because it was the trend or something.
Exactly. And I'm really happy about this concept of living. Like I might find some problems in my previous films, but I do love that back then, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to share. So I wouldn't change anything. Although I would like to, but I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, a bit of a side note.
Yeah.
So I already have the last question for you. To make, of maybe to learn other makers of your mistakes or challenges. Did you have challenges you experienced while making this film? Well, maybe other makers can learn from your mistakes or challenges.
Yeah. First of all, I think the only way to grow and to learn is by challenging yourself constantly. And surrounding yourselves with people that are smarter than you. Like this is the only way. Like otherwise, you just stay still. And for this film, we did, because of course we didn't have like a huge budget, and it's I think most of the time, I haven't heard. Sometimes, of course, you're very lucky and you have more money, or like you have enough money, but to my experiences and my surroundings experiences, it's very rare. So this creates some problems, but also this was the first time that I saw it on film, which I really, really wanted for a long time, and I'm sticking on the analog format. And of course, it's very different from shooting digitally. Like you never know what the actual result will be, and if it's going to be an actual result.
I really liked it though. It looked really authentic, maybe like something like that.
I'm glad,
because it's I think it's different from the other ones. It doesn't look as polished as some movies. So I personally like that more than maybe it depends on the subject, I think. But I personally liked it for this subject more than maybe like as polished movie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I hope it's full of flame.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a big challenge was that we burned one film before we actually shoot it, which I found like as a very nice little symbolic thing to happen, because the film is all about fire, and we burn a film. It was an interesting challenge, but I really love it looking back at it.
Like the film roll, or
like a film roll.
Oh, was there already something on it?
No, there wasn't.
Oh,
so
okay.
that was,
so
that was
you
good.
burned the roll.
Yeah, it happens.
Are there any lessons you learned while filming? You're filming this?
Yes. Always stay true to yourself. Listen to the feedback. Listen to the other people, especially if they're part of the team that you chose to work with. It's the most important thing, to listen to their feedback and and trust them along the way with their choices. But at the same time, trust your instinct. If I have one thing that I will keep on having above me and within me, is that trust my instinct, trust my gut. If my gut says this, then it has to happen.
Thank you so much for answering.
Thank you. It was really fun, actually.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. If you like this episode, you can also watch other ones, and see you next time.
Bye.